Hey, this is Larry. This is me going with Q1 of the bi-weekly contest 85. Minimum recolors to get K consecutive black box. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about this farm. So this one, especially during the contest, I would urge to look at the constraint first, especially for Q1, right? Given the N is 100, you can just be N times K and that'll be okay. Just count the number of white blocks there are, which means that you have to convert to black blocks. The way that I did it was with sliding windows, and if you did it before, so it'll be N times K and that'll be fast enough. The way that I did it though is with sliding window. I did it with linear time, so and yeah, and the idea here, and I'm only doing this because it's easy, but I probably, especially during the contest, I probably should have done it the more brute force way because I spent 2 minutes here. I probably could have shaved some time, but I also was worried about off by one. But idea here is sliding window, and basically the idea here is that let's say you have some blocks and you have some K as you go to, let's say 3 in this case. The idea is just measure the number of white blocks within every sliding window going from left to right. So this is your initial window and you move it to the right. Right, so basically you have here going to here, say, right? And then the difference between these two, the number of white blocks here, is just, okay, now we add in a block from into the window, and then we remove a block from the window, and then you just count again the number of white blocks inside the K blocks. And that's pretty much it, really. So yeah, this is the code. Like I said, I look to see if this is inside, and otherwise, we also take the min of the number of white blocks, and that's basically what this asks us for. Cool. So this is linear time, constant space, and that's pretty much it. It is an up south, so I did during the contest. Maybe a dubious decision, but yeah. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord, and you can watch me sub it live during the contest now. Hey everybody, this is Larry, this is me going Q1 of the weekly contest 332, longest even odd subarray with threshold. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord, let me know what you think about this forum. This one was the Q1 that I struggled with the most in a long time, to be frank. I don't know why that is, it really is just follow the instructions, and there are a couple of possible tricky things that happens. There's the threshold part. It has to start with even. I missed, not gonna lie, I got two wrong answers on this one. I missed a couple of things on this. I just, for some reason, just thought it was, alternating, and I kind of didn't focus on the threshold or the mod by 2, especially on the L part. So that means that it has to start with even number. There's an n squared solution with a lot of if statements, and there's a n cube solution with a lot of if statements. I tried both the n cube. I gave up on the n square one after 2 tries because, well, I was like, it's much more straightforward with the n cube one, but I was just not really.
Now, if you look at subarrays within the array, now obviously 8 is a subarray, it has one even element. 8 and 10 is a subarray. The maximum length of the subarray, which contains alternating even odd elements, is 3 because 10, 13, 14. This is your answer. So 3 should be your answer. To do that, I am going to take two variables, count and max count. Ultimately, whatever is there inside the max count variable is going to be my answer. Okay. So how am I going to go ahead and do it? So watch it, guys. First and foremost, I am going to run a loop where I is going to start from the beginning of the array and it is going to go to the end. What are we going to do, sir, you may ask? What I am going to do is, now to check if in case starting from I, is there subarrays which contains alternating even odd elements, and to calculate their length, I am going to take the help of another variable called as j. And I will tell j, you must always start one step ahead of I. Wherever is I is, one step ahead j will start. Now j's duty is to check whether this alternating even odd condition is satisfied. How will we check that? Very simple. Wherever j is, I will check if it is even. If j is even, then the previous element, j minus 1, should it be even or odd? It has to be odd. I hope you are able to understand. And how will you check if something is even? Mod 2 equal to 0. It should be perfectly divisible by 2. How will you check if something is not even? Mod 2 not equal to 0. That's how you check even and odd. Anyways, here I will just check if j is even. Is j minus 1 odd? J minus 1 is not odd, which means this subarray from I to j cannot even be our answer. Cannot even be our answer. I hope you are able to think. So what I will do is, whenever I start my looping, wherever I start, whichever element I is starting at, I will just go and make this count as 1. It will start from 1. I am assuming that, okay, I have a subarray of length 1, and if everything is even, your answer has to be 1. So count has to start from 1. I hope you are able to understand, because I showed it to you in this test case. If everything is even, it has to be 1. If everything is odd also, it has to be 1. So I will say, okay, count start from 1. Then can it become 2? That depends on whether j and j minus 1 are odd and even, but condition failed. If condition failed, I will come out of this j loop. I will come out of this j loop. And what I will do is, this max count, we will initially make it as 0. I will check which is the maximum between count and max count. Tell me, is max count greater or is count greater? Count is greater. If count is greater than max count, then I will update max count as whatever is the value of count, it will become 1. Which means right now, the maximum length subarray which I have found is of length 1. I hope you are able to understand. Any confusion till yet? You are within a loop. I moves forward. Now, the moment I moves forward, goes to a new element, I am going to reinitialize this count and make it as 1. Any confusion? J is always going to start one step ahead of I. J is always going to start one step ahead of I. Now, I will check, okay, right now the subarray size is 1, but can it be 2? For it to be 2, what is the condition? Whatever element j is, if it is odd, previous element should be even. If it is even, previous element should be odd. Both we have to check. Anyways, here if I check, j is odd, j minus 1 element, is it even? Yes. Yes means, don't you think the count of my subarray's length should increase? So I will increase count by making it as 2. Hope you are able to understand. Sir, then what happens, sir? Then what happens means j moves forward. If j moves forward, again I will check. Is j even or odd? Even. Is j minus 1 odd? If j is even, it has to be odd. Yes, j is even, j minus 1 is odd. If j minus 1 is odd, don't you think the length of my subarray has to increase? And that is what I will do. I will increment the value of count. It becomes 3. Then what happens, sir? J moves forward. If j moves forward, it goes outside the boundary. If it goes outside the boundary, I will come out of the loop and I will check. Now whatever count I found, is that greater than max count? I hope I will be able to think. What was the previous max count? 1. What is the count? 3. Don't you think 3 is greater than 1? Which means update max count. Hence max count is going to go from 1 and it is going to become 3. Any confusion till here? Then what happens, sir? Next, I moves forward. The moment I moves forward, I will reset the count to 1 because I am saying right now the length of the subarray is 1. Can it increase in length? I am checking. Anyways, for that, j is there. J always starts one step ahead of I. I hope you're able to think. Next, I will check. The jth element, is it even or odd? Even. Which means I will check, is the j minus 1 element odd? If j minus 1 element is odd, it's alternating even odd elements. Because it is alternating even odd elements, I know that the length of the subarray can be increased and hence I should increase the count. Count is now going to become 2. Any confusion? Okay, sir, then what? Then what means j moves forward. If j moves forward, it goes outside the boundary. If it goes outside the boundary, I'll come out of the loop and I will check. Okay, I found a new count. Is it greater than the previous max count? No, 2 is not greater. If it is not greater, don't update max count. Max count even now is 3 only. I hope you're able to understand. Next, I moves forward. If I moves forward, then I is here. Now, from here, I have to find the length. So, I will reset this count value, make that as 1. Then what happens, sir? Then what happens means, now j will start one step ahead of I. If j starts one step ahead of I, already j is outside. Already j is outside, which means I'll come out of the loop and I'll check count and max count, which is greater. Obviously, max count is greater, which means I will not update it. And then finally, I moves forward. I also goes outside the boundary. Iteration is done. And when you come out of the loop, what is there inside max count? 3. Now, what is the longest length subarray you found which contains alternating even odd elements? 10, 13, 14. Length is 3. Length is 3. You